for the patience, and let's dive straight into the tools. Yesterday I showed you the tools in Illustrator and how you can use them for your design purpose. And today I'll be showing you the Photoshop tools that I use for my design, and we will be replicating or recreating two designs in Photoshop. One of the designs will be needing the help of Illustrator, and the other one will be using Photoshop. Solely Photoshop for it. So I'm going to start with the one we'll be using Photoshop for. But before I go into that, like I said, I would like to show you the tools. So over here, I will just open up Illustrator as well. And so over here we have the tools, and these tools they start from the select. And so, like I said yesterday, if you're not viewing this class from your laptop, then you are wrong. You need to get your laptop on and tune into this meeting. And so the first tool here is the select tool, and inside of it we have the artboard tool. The artboard tool is used to create multiple artboards. So I'm just going to do that. Holding shift, I'm going to click, holding shift with the artboard tool, I'm just going to hold shift and drag out, and I'm going to have this. I can click on the plus sign and I'm going to have multiple artboards. I'll go back to move tool. So I have two artboards, and I'll be needing these two artboards for this design purpose, and that's why I have to create two artboards. So I just have to keep them over here like this. This is cool. So the next tool I would like to show you, because of time, I won't be showing you all of them because I don't use all of them. So I'll be showing you the next tool, which is the Lasso tool. The Lasso tool is used to crop things. So if you had like an image here, you can draw over it. So with that, I'm just going to bring in some of the assets that I have prepared for this class. So I'll bring in this image. Taking this, I have this image, and I would use the Lasso tool, open up my layers. So this is the layer panel. I would use the Lasso tool to draw over this image, just like this, and press Ctrl J. And with that, you will have only that section of our head that I have used the Lasso tool for. So the Lasso tool can be used to crop. There are more features to the Lasso tool, but I can't go deeply into all of it. Sorry, let me admit. Keep. Okay, cool. And so inside of the Lasso tool, we have other tools, but I don't use them. I use just the Lasso tool. I'll go next to the other one, the object selection tool. Now, the object selection tool is used to crop out images from their background. So you want to, if I want to work with this image, certainly I would have to take it off from this background. So how do I do that? I would go to the object selection tool. We also have other tools under it, but I'm going to show you how they operate. The second one is the quick selection tool. Well, let me show you how the object selection tool works. So I'll select the object selection tool, and I can draw a box around her, and it will select her. If you look at it, you see those lines, those dotted spotty lines going around her, the motion lines. They've created a symbol telling me she's been selected, and I can now perform whatever task I want to, or whatever action I want to. So if I press Ctrl J, which is to duplicate, I have her out of that background. Yeah, so that is one way you can go about that. The second way is you click on the object selection tool, and up here you're going to see select object. So if you click on select object, you don't have to draw. Now you know you can draw and you select a section of her or her entire body. If I draw on the face, I'll select a particular section. But now I don't want to draw, so I'll use the second method. So click on the object selection tool and then click on select object. And once you click that, it will take a few seconds because I'm using a gaming system, so it's fast. So it might be slow if you're using a low-end system. So click on it and then it's going to select her, and then you can still perform the same task. Ctrl J to duplicate, and you have that out of the way. I'm going to delete that because I don't need it. Now the second part is the quick selection tool. The quick selection tool is also used as the object selection tool. Now if you click on the quick selection tool, you can click on select object and it will select the object, just like the way the object selection tool works. It has selected the object, and then you can do Ctrl J and it will duplicate it. Now the second way is I use the quick selection tool when I have a client send me pictures that have multiple people in the background, and probably they just want only this girl. So if we had like 5 girls in this image and they want just this girl to be cropped out and used for a particular purpose, or I feel like I don't want to use so many persons, I want to use only this girl, then I use the quick selection tool. The quick selection tool, you can now draw on the face. Once you select the quick selection tool, ensure you're on plus. I'm on minus, so whatever I do might not give me the better result. So click on the add to selection at the top left. Once you click on it, you can now draw over the section that you want. So if you notice, as I'm drawing, things the lines are moving, and these lines are selecting parts that I want to be part of this of this image that I want to crop. Yeah, so this is what it's going to look like, and so you can draw this way, do it this way, and that is that. And so with that, you can do Ctrl J and it will duplicate her as well, and you have her without the background. So probably I'll just give the background a color so that you know that that is actually working. Yeah, so we have her. Now I'll go to the next tool. The next tool is the crop tool, so you can use it to crop your images. So if I draw on this, I can be able to crop a particular section of this screen. But yeah, I don't use this tool, but it's a tool you may need to know about. So the crop tool, inside of it you find other tools that I don't use. So the purpose of this class is to show you the tools that I use and not tell you exactly what I don't use. So there's a crop, the eyedropper tool is next. So the eyedropper tool is the only one I use in this section for now. So once you pick the eyedropper tool, you can be able to pick colors, multiple colors. So if I select here, I will get the eyedropper tool and I can pick different colors. If I create a new solid color, I can use the eyedropper tool to pick this white or pick this black, and it will give me that result. So the eyedropper tool works in that way. You can pick colors and sample them on another platform. Yeah, it's more or less that. The next tool on this line is the healing brush tool. So I can't go so much in this one, but this is how it works. So I think she has some spots in her face, so I'm going to use the spots. I'm going to use the spot healing brush, and then over on her, I'm going to hold. How it works is you have to hold down. So she doesn't have any spots on her face, and that is, yeah. So let me just show you how it works. So you hold down Alt, click on a particular part of the face that you want to fix, and it's going to pop this out. So you click OK, and then what you do next is use the healing brush, hold Alt, click on that part, and once you click on that part, you selected it. If I zoom in, you're going to see what I've selected over here, and then I can use what I've selected on the face. So if I click OK, I'm going to rasterize that layer, and then I can start painting over specific places. But yeah, she doesn't have any spot on her face, so I wouldn't go so much into that. Okay, so let's fix this area. I don't know if people can see it clearly, but there's a black stuff around here. So to fix that, all I need to do is select the healing brush tool, hold Alt on my keyboard, and pick somewhere close to that black spot. Left click and pick it, and then I'll come on it and just click once, and it's going to fix it. So that is it. I didn't create a second picture. Now I'll show you the before. So let me show you the before. This is the before and this is the after. So this is how it works. I probably, during this section, I might be able to find an image that has spots, and I will show you more about this tool. The next tool is a tool you would pretty much use often, and it's the brush tool. So the brush tool is used to do many manipulations in Photoshop. You can use it to add colors, add splashes. You see some what's it called? You see some designs having some really play. You can blur things out. You can create specific effects with the brush tool. All you need to do is change the color over here. So if I switch this color, I can still do the same thing. You can add some really cool effects to your image, and it's going to look really cool. So this looks cool. If I just add my text, I'm done with this design. So that is how the brush tool works. You can use it to add multiple colors to your image. You can use it as a mask. So if I mask this image, I'm going to show you mask as well. I'm trying to fine tune everything into 1 hour. So if I click on the mask tool, I'm going to get this box on my layer panel, and then it's going to change my colors to black and white. So if I draw over this, it's going to hide. So black hides whatever is beneath it, and if I swap it over here to white, it will reveal what was there. So I know it's a bit confusing, but I hope you'll be able to watch the tutorial and see how I've been able to do that. So the next tool that I'm going to show you is the eraser tool. Yeah, so the eraser tool is used to erase, because this is already a vector. I've rasterized this image, so I can pretty much delete any area that I want to delete from the image. And also, you can use it to delete backgrounds, and that's where you come with the background eraser. So once I select the background eraser tool, I can select the image and I can start deleting the background, and it will not affect the image itself. It will affect the background, but mind you, we use this only for backgrounds that are like one. So you can, if you don't want to click, you can just click once and just draw it around the area you want to be clean, and you're going to have something this clean. Yeah, so that is how the background eraser tool works. Please, if I'm fast, draw my attention to it, and I'm going to fix that. The next tool here is the gradient tool, and like you know, is used to create gradients. And in order to create gradients in Photoshop, you would need to have a layer that is rasterized. So all I do in my own design time, brainstorming time, is I would create a new layer. So at the bottom here, I'm going to show you all these tools at the down part here. But I'll create a new layer, and then I would click on the gradient tool. At this point, I can now use the existing tool, existing color. So if I draw on my screen, it's going to give me that gradient. Okay, yeah, so that is very correct, but now I want to change the color. I don't want to go through that process because I'm just changing the shape. Sorry, I didn't know my recording stopped at some point, so thank God we've not gone so far. I'm recording again, so I'm going to have my eyes on it more. So all I need to do to achieve this is double click on this smaller box inside of here, because I'm just changing the shape. That's the square that was drawn inside of this Photoshop. So you can actually change that one easily by double clicking here and going to white, and it's going to change that. Now to change the shapes to the color that I used, which is blue, if you look at the original one, you see it was still in blue. To change that, all I need to do is select one and then double click, go to color overlay. It's going to change it to white because that was the last color we chose. Click here to bring out this box and just pick the background color, and we have that blue. And now we don't need to do that again for all of this. because we already have a particular color. So consistency, all I need to do is, this is for the Instagram. So I'm going to come to this other one, which is the Twitter. I would hold Alt on my keyboard, Alt at this FX, this place that we have this FX. It's telling you an effect has been added to this layer. So all I'll do is I'll hold Alt, click, left click, and drag it up to paste on this one. And now it has copied that effect to the next one. If I also want to do it for the coming soon, I can also do it. Hold Alt, move it to the coming soon, and it will change it. So we now have all of these having the same effect. Now there's also another way to do it. You can group all of them, select all three of them because they are like terms, group them. I will delete the Alt, I would disable this from some of them. You know what, I'll just clear layer style. I'll clear the layer style for these two. And in order for me to do this at just one go, all I need to do is drag this effect from the coming soon to the group, and it's going to affect all the items inside of this group. And that is how it has changed it automatically, and that's how to work smart and faster. So I have that over there, and the next step for me is to create this noise effect, and not just the noise effect, but also create the pattern, because if you look at this design, it's looking pretty plain. Yeah, it's really plain. So I don't want it to be this plain. I want it to have some kind of texture going around it. So how do I apply that texture? Now, you agree with me that the texture that we did inside of Illustrator was black. So we're going to change it to white because we don't like stress, and then copy it. Ctrl C, you can copy from Illustrator into Photoshop. So Ctrl C, you're going to copy this and then come into Photoshop, click on this background and press Ctrl V. It will bring this in, and you can click OK, and it's going to appear on top of this. I don't know where it is going to appear now, but it's going to appear on top of this. So let's do this. Ctrl T. Where is that young man? So this is where the young man is. Just drag him upward back into the frame. He went to hide, he's scared. So we have this over here, and we can increase it. Hold Alt and just drag. Alt and drag, and there we have that. Now, you wouldn't want to send someone a design like this. Everything is constructing with each other. We have the colors, the logo. You can't see the logo very well. It has some really shady, wavy feel that doesn't really feel cool to the eye. So what do? I would select that layer, and then I would either do overlay. Sometimes I will do overlay. You can also go across to find the one that would be suitable for this particular design on the blending modes, or I will reduce the opacity to between 8 and 10. So if I take it to 9, I'm going to get this, so I can take it to 10 or 11. So with that, I will have this, which looks really cool. It looks really cool. And then we're done. The final thing I did to make this design more better was exporting this and coming to add some more features to it. But I can just add the features to it at this time. So all I need to do is click on the layer which is at the top. And there's something I like to do. I like to arrange my files or my layers very well, so that I have just limited layers. So that cuts across having text, shapes, and all of those things becoming together. So I will just leave this, choose this, and then I will group it together and call these shapes. I can't pretty much do everything at this time, so I'm going to leave the rest. These two, I'm going to name them, I'm going to group them, and then I'll call them background BG. And what is this? This is the logo. So we're going to change this to logo, and then layer 1 to image, and then we pretty much have this. What is your stuff? So because there's no second text and I've grouped this one, I'm just going to leave it alone at this point. And so at this point I want to add a noise effect to the background. So I'm going to select the file that is at the top, and which is the image, and then come into the adjustment layer. I'll click on the adjustment layer and then click on solid color, and then I will choose a gray color, something around here, 1F, 1F, 1F. Click OK. I would come here and change it to 50%, around 50% in the opacity channel, and then I have this gray on top of it. And the next thing I'm going to do is go to filter, come to noise, and then I'll add noise. Now adding noise will convert this layer to smart object. So I'm going to convert smart object, and I'm going to have this effect on the layer. You can increase it, you can reduce it to your taste, and at this point I like it. 52.01 is the amount, and uniform, we'll have it in Gaussian. I think we'll leave it at uniform. So I'm going to leave it at uniform and then click OK. And now you have not noticed so much, but you notice that it has this grainy feel on it. But to finish this up, all I'll need to do is go into this part where it says normal. This is the blending mode, and then I'll click on the arrow and scroll down to overlay. And once I click on overlay, I'm going to have that you can test run other ones. You can use soft light or overlay, soft light overlay, but I want to use overlay. And at that point, I have this result. And that, my friends, is how you can create design in Photoshop using this method. So you can also increase the noise by double clicking there, and you can increase it, and you will pretty much see it in real time. So you can leave it smaller, you can increase it to fit whatever purpose you'll be using this design for. And that is that. Next up is the second flyer that we will be creating, and the second flyer is over here. So we'll be recreating this flyer with the same method but different. We're going to be doing something different, and that is the thing I showed you inside of Illustrator yesterday, cutting these images into this format. And for this, we're going to use Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how I do this in Photoshop. And I'm showing you this because I want to use the brush tool. I want to show you how to use the brush tool to clean up your images and make things more smoother. So without wasting much of your time, let's dive into it. So for this pattern that we've created, the first logo, I'm going to group it and I'm going to hide it. And then I'm going to create a new solid color. I'll make it black. And I'm going to dive straight into a logo. I'm going to get out the same logo I used for this purpose, close this out. I would use the same Chivas logo. Okay, I'm going to copy, Ctrl C, I'll close it out, turn on this other layer, and Ctrl E to paste. So I'm going to have it over here, and for this one, our lines are not actually going to be at the border. So we're going to draw another shape. We're going to bring in our shape tool. We're going to draw from here to about that point. Let me change this to a color we can see. And then Ctrl T to expand this, Ctrl T, and then hold Shift or anyone and just make it touch the edge. Now with that, I can now eyeball our eyeball, what we have here, you can see the borders at this point to this point are like almost times 3 of what we have. So how do we solve this? We're simply going to reduce it. Hold Alt and zoom it in a bit to around here, and there we have it. You can now move this line to lap on this one and to lap here, and we can bring this downwards a bit, and then bring in our logo at that point and delete this. We don't need it anymore. You can also bring this upward times 2, and yeah, so we will start creating this. Now the first step to creating this is to add this sign, this chat box, but for this purpose I'm going to do it inside of Illustrator. So I'll come to Illustrator, I'm going to move this aside, and I'm going to bring in this image over here, and I'm going to draw that shape. So with the pen tool, I'm going to bring in the shape, go this way, bring it down a bit, hold shift, take it up a bit, just slightly a bit, go this way. It's going to lap at that point, and then finish it up at that point. And here we have it. So I'm going to select it and choose the color for it. I'll close out the stroke because I don't need the stroke color, so I'm going to close that out, and let's test this. So it's almost exactly what they did, and I'm going to actually use mine. So I'll copy it, Ctrl C, go back into this, and I'm going to paste it. Because it's black, I won't see it, so I'm going to change the color by using the blending options. So right, double clicking, I'll go to blending options and do a color overlay. And yeah, I purposely doing this so that you remember it. And then I have that chat box size over there. And next up, we're going to bring in our text before we do the images. So let's actually do the boxes first. So I'm going to draw the boxes. You can come over here and pick the actual box because we are recreating this. So I'm going to draw that box. Yeah, that is exactly what I want. And then I'm going to bring it back into this. Close this out and then duplicate it. Duplicate it again, and finally duplicate it. Now this is what we wanted, so we're going to work with this 17, 11, adjust it until it fits, and so I like it at that point, and that is it. We're going to now move this upward and start bringing in our images. Now because of time, we're not going to do this dosa that they did over here, dosa. So we're just going to use the text and change it to an outline and use for this design, because I have to create this, which will take more time to achieve. So with this, I would now start adding the text. So the text tool, I'm going to type reply, and that's all the text I want for there. I will change this to white so that I can see the text that I've typed. Reply, send it to the top, and now I'm going to choose the colors I'll be using for this design. So pick them from the Archer design, come down here, pick the background color over here, and we're going to pick this other color later. So maybe let's pick it now. So select this, double click here. Whoa, sorry, I forgot we created this in this part. So you don't need to double click there, you will do an overlay. So selecting the blending option, select this color and pick the color over there, and then we have our chart color. So next thing we're going to do is make this bigger. So I'll be using PM sans for this design. PM sans. So I'm going to use the bold version, and I'm going to increase this from 16 to about 24. For now, I'm going to leave it here. Bring this down a bit. Yeah. Sorry, you're not seeing what I'm doing. So sorry. So I'm going to do that, and then duplicate this and type join us. I'll work on all of this very soon. Duplicate this as well. I'm going to type Facebook. I'm going to make this just one text. Duplicate it. Type at Xavier White. Space again at. I'll just copy the one on the top. Copy, bring it downwards, and paste it. And that is all. I'll give you white. And I'm going to reduce this. Place it somewhere here. Reduce it a bit. Select all of this and move them upward. Just a bit like that. And I will create the other text over here. Double click on it. Type Sunday // 6 a.m. to, you know what? Let's type 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. But for today's class, will be ending by 11. So that's so I'll select this in this part and change it to medium because it looks smaller. And then I'm going to position it at this bottom. I'm going to position it here. So if you joined in late, I'm recording the class. I would send in the video to you guys so you can follow through what we're doing. So zoom into this one as well and see what we've done. Yeah, perfect. Change this from bold to medium as well. And then we will need images. So let's bring in her image because we'll be using just her image for this purpose. Reduce it, and then she's at the back, so we're going to bring her to the front. So to do this quickly, you can use the shortcut Ctrl+Shift plus that bracket close to P. The left one will take it downwards, and the right one is going to take it upwards. So Ctrl+Shift plus the bracket close to P, letter P for pot. So we have this over here. I will reduce her, keep her over here, and we have their hair shooting out slightly. So I'm going to show you how you can do this inside of Photoshop, and then we're going to keep it and use it for the rest of the icon. So the next thing I'm going to add will be the light. Do the same thing, Ctrl+Shift plus bracket next P, second one, and type light. Click OK. I felt like the PM sans font was closer to this, so that's why I'm using it for this class. And so this one, I'm going to reduce the size. I'm going to reduce the size of it and position it up here like this, just slightly a bit. The font size is 11, so I'm going to just make that 11 and the dot 11. So 11 is cool for this purpose, and here we have it. So I'm going to reduce replace the beat, something like this. I'm going to reduce the beat, and then move the light inside. So I really didn't get out the actual bigger shape. So I think I will just do that again. Close it out. So I'll just draw it over here. Pen tool, click here, come here, click here, come here, click here, come here, and this should be perfect. Ctrl C to copy, come back. We're going to just move this inside and then paste this. With this vector, I'll move the color to the top one, and then I'll delete the other one that we have. So over there, I will reduce the size of this, yeah, something like this, and I think this is pretty much what I was aiming for. Yeah, this is better. And then place our light. And yeah, we have this. So we're going to change all of these boxes to white. So group all of them, Ctrl G, and then move this to the group. And it's going to change the color. But for this, we're going to change it to white. So we want to use something like this white. And we have that white. So the next thing you would want to do is to start placing the images. And with this pattern, you can already see that the design is going to take some shape, and which is pretty much what I'll be using for my next design. So let's bring in this text, since we're having them over there. Duplicate and type bishop. So I'm going to type bishop. That will be one text, and I'll type my name, APOY. I'll change it from bishop to designer. And if you notice the font, it was a script font, so I'll go and use Annabelle. If I can find Annabelle now. So I think I don't have Annabelle again, so I might have to look for another font that will do the work for me. Aguilera, no. So pardon me, let me quickly look for the font that will do. Yes, I'll use Be Wise, that's the title of this font. And I'm going to change the color to yellow, and I'll leave this one at the color it is. Yeah, just reduce it a bit. Then I think I'll reduce it a bit as well. And so select both of them and move them upwards somewhere around here. Them slightly a bit. We're going to do a repetition, so we'll duplicate them across the different views. So because these people had multiple names, I'm going to do C dot and bring it downwards so that we have some consistency. Move it upward a bit. Select both of these. Something is covering there, so I can't really do much of what I want to do. So I'll select that, leave it at this point. I hope you guys are following. I know it's a bit complex. So now I want to work on this image, which is pretty much the next thing I want to work on. So I'm going to select the image, open my layer so that you can see it. I'm going to change it to image, and then yeah, I'm going to duplicate it. So these layers, I'm going to add all of these to their different layers. I'm pretty much just adding the colors to them. So I'm going to separate them. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to select the image and I'm going to find the first layer. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to bring the image to the first layer on top of it and duplicate the image. I'm going to duplicate the image, and then now to flip this image to this background, all you need to do is click on the image close to the shape, hold Alt on your keyboard to clip an image to a shape. I'm going to hide one of it for now. To clip an image into a shape, keep both of them close to each other, the shape downwards, hold Alt in between the image and the shape, and then click. I don't know why that happened, but let me see if I take out the layer style. So the layer style got in the way, but this is pretty much what we're going for. So I'm not going to use layer style for the shape. I'm going to change their actual color. So I'm going to clear the layer style, clear all of it. I don't need, but whatever is inside of it will return to that. So I'm going to unclip it and do the process again. So to clip an image into a shape, all you need to do, have the shape below it, and then I'm going to hold Alt in between the image and the shape and click. Once you click, it's going to put that image inside of that shape. And all I have to do next is click on it, duplicate it. I had already duplicated it, so it's over here. And then I have one on top of it. So I'll select that one on top of it because I want the head to be part of it. Now I'm going to apply what we call a layer mask. So this layer mask will help me get rid of the part of the image that I do not want. So to do that, all I need to do is come to this part here. It's going to tell you add layer mask. Now once you click on it, it's going to add an extra box beside this image, beside it. So you click on it and it's going to add this. Now black, white reduce and black hide the image. So what you need to do, as it's white, I'm going to choose the brush tool. So come up here and choose the brush tool or type B. Now to reduce this size, if you pick a brush tool and it's big or small, all you need to use to reduce it is the bracket close to P. So if you use the left bracket, it's going to reduce it. If you use the right bracket, it's going to increase it. So I'm going to reduce it a bit. And then I'm going to, if I paint over this, nothing is going to happen because my color is on white. Now if I switch it, to switch it, the shortcut is X. X for X-ray on your keyboard. And so if I click X, it's going to flip the colors. You can see what's happening. If I click this sign through, it's going to flip the colors. So I'm flipping it to be black. And then now if I start painting, it's going to hide the part of the image that I don't want, that is outside of this frame. And there we have the image inside of the frame. And all I need to do next is just duplicate this frame multiple times. So I'll click on this, double click and choose white, because white was the color for those frames. Yeah. So I have this, and now I'm going to change this Facebook to bold, and I'm going to change this one to medium. So let's change that to medium, and that's that. and we have this. Now the next thing is to duplicate it multiple times. So I'm just going to do that quickly. So I'll delete this, select all of this, hold Alt and move it inside of it. I'll hold Alt again and just I'll hold Alt and move it in a bit again. I'll hold Alt again and move it. So it's the same process because I'm using the same image. Yeah, so select this. The other boxes that I don't want, I'm just going to get rid of them. Number 4, number 3, and I've gotten rid of number 2. So duplicating this or zooming out, we now have this. Okay, and now if you look at all of this, there's an overlay. The overlay is on top of the image. So I would have done that before duplicating all of these images. So the overlay allows you to see text, and that's why if you look at the text over here, you find that the down part is darker. In the actual images, the down parts are darker and the up parts are lighter because they've applied what we call an overlay. So to do this, I will select this image in between it, and I'm going to create a new layer, and it has clicked to this image. So whatever I paint, now go and pick the brush tool. Whatever I paint stays inside of this layer. You can see what's happening. I'm painting anyhow, but it's staying inside of this layer. So now all I need to do is bring this image downwards, go to the layer, and if I paint it to be on top of the image. Yeah, so what I need to do is change this color, and it needs to be in black. I'm going to first off copy this color code so that I can change it back to the actual color, and then I'm going to zoom in a bit and change the opacity to something around 50, and then I'll just paint around it. And there we have it. Zoom out of it, and now you can read this text more than you can read this other one. You agree with me? You can now see the V white, and you can even see this one. Yeah, so that is how you can go about things. I'm going to do it for this one. Select that. Hello, are you with me? Can you hear me, please? Okay, sorry. A call came in. Sorry, so we'll go over that process again. Click on this, create a new layer, move it in. You can drag it in, drag this image down, click on the layer at the top, and then choose the brush tool and just paint over it. Yeah, you can just paint over that. I'll zoom in, and you can just paint over it. Can do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it for the rest of the other ones. Click on this, create a new layer, drag it into the clipping mask, drag the image down, because if you paint the layer below the image, then you're not doing anything. So click the layer upward, it's already on black, and do the same thing. Select the last one, same thing, create a new layer, bring it in, bring the image downward, select the layer, B for the brush tool, and just add the brush mask over here. Yeah, like so. And there you have it. So you can now read all of this text that we created here. And then it's now time to reflect the background. And so for the background, we've created, there's an effect that has been created. that has been created to give this background a more dynamic look. And I'm going to recreate that effect, but I'm not going to recreate it the way they've done it. I'll just create something that we can use for the purpose of this design. So first off, I'd like to create that pattern. So let's go back into Illustrator, and there I will delete this. We don't need that. I will delete this as well. Just make it bigger. And yeah, I don't know who created this design. It's not my design. So whoever created this design, if this tutorial goes on YouTube eventually, please don't sue me. I'm only trying to create a class or tutorial for people. I have to say that because some people will just, and I don't get money. Alright, so I would zoom in and just create some bunch of circles. I would create one circle, I will change it to a stroke, so I'm going to change it to white, closer to the, what's it called, the fill. I'll make it thick a bit, so I think I'll use around 8, and then I'm going to duplicate it again. Sorry about that. Ctrl C, Ctrl S to duplicate in the same position, increase it a bit, create some kind of spacing between it. Ctrl C, Ctrl S again, duplicate it again at this point, and I think I would use just 3 of these to present this. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'll use 3. So with that, I can now group it, and then I'm going to create my text. So selecting this, I'll just change it to the fill. And just pick a color. Yeah, so I have this now. So I'm going to create the effect. I'm using this to measure what I'll be using it for. Duplicate it, and more or less duplicate it. Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D, Ctrl D, and selecting all of them, I will reduce it. Holding Shift, I'll group it Ctrl G, and then I'll select it using Alt. I'll bring it downwards. Yeah, and then I'm equally going to do the same thing. Ctrl D, 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 and that is that. That is what I was looking for. I will select all of it, group it, Ctrl G. I've grouped it. I'll copy it, Ctrl C, I'll come back to my design, click on the background and paste it, and it's going to paste. Now it has gone to paste at the far down over here. And so that is how you can create your pattern. This is how I create my pattern. And yeah, my friends, we're almost done with it. So I'm just going to align this very well. Select the background, and let me add my color back again, my yellow. So select the background and pick the background color, and that is it. So the next thing I'm going to do is adding the colors. So I'm going to splash the colors that they've used. Selecting all of these, I'm going to pick the yellow color over here. Click OK, select the reflex, pick the yellow as well, click OK, and that is that. We are done. So if I was the one to do this stuff, I think I wouldn't want to use that color. I'll close it out, I'll use the darker shade. Let me see how that comes out. Yeah, I would want to use this. I don't like how the other one was. Select this, select this, B. Click this, click this, click this, delete this, V, click this, same thing, click here, create a new layer, V, alright, and we are done. We are done. Any questions? Hello guys. Yeah, let me increase this a bit. Somewhere around here. We can come to Illustrator and type DOXA, DOXA, change it to a stroke, I'll change that to white, close this out, select it, Ctrl C, come back to Illustrator, paste it there, bring it to the top, reduce it a bit, turn it upward a bit. And there we have it. You can also clean this shape up by using the layer mask tool. B, reduce it, and just clean it up. Now I'm going to send this back to 100%, and I'm going to clean this up so that it doesn't touch the text. So that is how you can clean this, pretty much clean this up. Yeah, and we are done. Any questions? Let's send that. Okay. Okay, to duplicate the artboard, let me create a new file because I wouldn't want to mess with it. So create a new file. To duplicate the artboard, I'm going to end the recording at this point. After duplicating the artboard, so that you don't get 5 gig worth of video to watch. So to duplicate this artboard to have carousels, right click here, choose the artboard tool, and then you can draw your artboard. I can do hold shift and just draw an artboard, and I have this artboard, and it's going to show you all of this, and you can press this and it's going to take it upwards. You can press this and it will create more. Whichever one you click on, you can duplicate it. So if I come back to the artboard tool, I can duplicate it as many times as possible that I want these frames to have. I can just keep pressing my plus. Do you understand? I can come back this way and I will have a bunch of articles. Was that clear?